Hey, I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. Got this new welder and I want to build a welding table and cart for it. So yeah, I got this Vulcan Omni Pro 220 welder from Harbor Freight. I want to learn how to TIG weld, and this is a multi-function welder that'll let me weld MIG and TIG and stick if I ever need it. But it doesn't fit on the old cart that I have for my old welder, which is gonna go bye-bye. So I need to make a new cart for it. I've always wanted a dedicated welding table as well. And now that I'm in my new shop, I've got the room for it. So I thought probably what I would do is build a combination cart slash welding table for this. It's I've got a drawing for it, which is more than I usually do on these things. So I've got a pretty good idea about what I want, and it should end up looking something like this. So I hope it looked good, what you just saw. I still need to build it. Now I think I'm gonna make the bottom shelf and the top shelf, which are going to be exactly the same. So I've got my cut list, and I'm gonna start going to town. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good idea for me to make a couple of quick just test cuts, just to see how close I am to that 45 angle. That's pretty dead, solid, perfect. That's a good 45 cut. All right, I got the first 8 pieces cut. Those are gonna be the 8 pieces that make up the top box and the bottom box. Probably the most important pieces, because that's what's gonna ensure that this thing is square and looking good, and that big piece of plate that I have over there is gonna fit on it. So I'm gonna take the time, I'm gonna clean them up, and I'm gonna take the time and just make sure that they're all exactly the same. The bandsaw, after I tightened it up, did a pretty good job on that. But there are a few discrepancies more on the 4-foot pieces. I think these 2-foot pieces are looking pretty good, but still clean them up, get them ready for just a quick little tack weld, and get them square. It's looking pretty damn square, and that's bang on right there. I'm gonna tack that up real fast. All right, first one's tacked up. I think I'm just gonna get them tacked, make sure they're totally the same, and then I'll come back through and finish weld them. But that's perfect. Hot damn. All right, we're doing good. Now I'm cutting the cross bracing, which is 4 22-inch, no angle on it, just straight across. All right, I've got this thing clamped up. I've got the big 1/4-inch plate down here. And I've got this clamped to it as well as I can, just to keep it from warping as I finish weld it. I'm just gonna go through and get it all completely welded. I'm not welding, this is actually the bottom, so I don't wanna weld it to the plate, so I'll stay up off of that and then flip it over and do the other side. Hear it? Trying to bend. It's all nice and flat now. And I think it's square. We'll find out when I pull off these clamps. This bottom one turned out real well and it's nice and flat and square, so I'm hoping this one did the same. Next is going to be putting these two things together to make an actual table. I gotta connect them with 30-inch lengths. Then I'll start worrying about the inside, building the shelf for the welder, the shelf for the gas tanks. Oh, you've already seen the thing. You know what it looks like. I haven't even seen it yet. All right, so I made these tabs. That's because I'm gonna have some wood that'll drop in here, and the bottom one and be a shelf. And I made 14 of those. And then I made 2 of these longer ones because I have these casters here and they only touch on 3, so I'll have this longer one so I can get a attachment place on all 4 of the holes. So yeah, I'm gonna weld these up and then I think I'm calling it a day. I'll come back tomorrow and finish her up, hopefully. This is where the tanks are gonna go. One here and one here. I think I'm gonna put some more square tubing here just to box it in a little bit more. Maybe a long 22-inch piece. All right, it's a new day. I've got both of the top and the bottom squares totally finished, welded out. I spent some time building the uprights, which are 30 inches long a piece, and I spent some extra time just making sure that they were exact, since they're gonna be, provide the level up to the top shelf. So now I'm going to weld those on to the bottom frame. Trying to make sure they're exact. I'm just gonna tack them up and then I'll put the top on, make sure it's totally flush and level, tack it on there, and then I'll come around and do a full weld on it. Trying not to put too much heat in one spot so we don't warp it. This is why you just tack it, because that weld wants to pull it out of level. And while it's just a tack and pretty soft, you can move it right back into square. See that? You don't see that, but that's cool. All right, next, last one. Beautiful. Okay, now just tack this. I don't have to be so careful. I just got to get it on the corners and I'm good. So this one's going to be kind of easy. I'll probably come back and do the final welds on those after I get the insides built, which is coming right now. I've got most of the remaining metal cut. To build in the middle parts. I'm gonna have my welder right here. I'm gonna have the tanks right here, and then the shelf right here. So I'm gonna put in these uprights all the way across, and then start building the shelf for the welder. And then I'll build the other shelf. I don't have these parts cut, because I'm gonna get this up and then measure it exact, so I can put it right in and not try to bend this thing too much. Then I'll flip it over and put the casters on and the top on, and we're gonna call it done. But right now I'm gonna get the uprights in, the 30-inch uprights right here, go in here. Kind of a tight fit, but we'll make it work. Where are my gloves? I think we only have 2 more pieces of metal to cut. The brackets here in the middle for the shelf that'll be here. I haven't cut those yet. Let me measure it up and get it exact. 26 inches. Hopefully it's the same both sides. Yep. All right. I made all of these tabs that I'll need to weld in here because there's going to be a plywood shelf here. But while I'm doing that, I mean, this thing is, for the most part, except the top and the bottom, is just tacked together. So I'm going to go through here and fully weld everything, which will take quite a while, I think. So here comes a bunch of fast motion, probably. All right, time to put those casters on. That's got a little weight to it, I'm not gonna lie. All right. Gonna weld this on, then I'm pretty much done with this bad boy. Then we'll clean it up and set it up. All right, welcome to the third and I hope final day of this build. Not too much to do today. I'm gonna go around this plate with the grinder and take all the edge off. It's sharp and I don't want to cut myself on it. I'm going to clean everything up with acetone and then paint it. And then I've got to make the wood shelves for it. Sand at the top so it's nice and shiny, and then oil it so it doesn't get rusty. Black. It's black. I had 3 cans of that. The other choices were baby blue and red, so black was the winner. I'm going to put a little rubber on here to isolate the welder from this metal, just some weather stripping. And now the fun part, I get to put everything on. I think I'm just gonna hold the tanks on with ratchet straps, but I might build something to put chains on it or something. I'm not sure, but for now, I think I'm calling her done. I'm gonna start loading her up. Here goes. Yeah, I am gonna need to weld some hooks here. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I will. Just right here on the side, I think. It's a new tank. When I got a new tank, I always crack it a little bit just to get any kind of sediment out or anything. All right, I'm almost done with this thing. It's been a few days. I got it set up so I could try my hand at TIG welding. I mean, I've got the welds to stick. I wouldn't be posting any on Instagram or anything, but I got it pretty good and I figured out what I'm doing. Now it's just practice. But I learned it well enough so that I can TIG weld some hangers on here. This is the last thing I need to do. I bought some flat stock to bend it up into hangers. Probably put the MIG rig here, TIG rig here, and the ground clamp here. And then I'll grind off some of the paint here so that I can just leave the ground right here on the table. And I'll ground the whole table, but I'll get good contact. First thing is to bend these up. Well, actually, first thing is to cut these. Second thing is to bend these up. Let's do it. It's ugly, but it'll stick. Okay, yeah, those are ugly. I'm gonna go, I'll go on record and say that these are some ugly ass welds. I need a lot more practice with TIG, but they're on. I mean, you did the job. It's just ain't pretty. We're gonna skip the close-up. Well, that's it. There she is. I'm going to continue practicing my TIG welding. It needs it. Yeah, but now I have a mobile cart that I can wheel anywhere around the shop. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.